Hi everyone, my name is Aisha. During the pandemic and in recent years, I've had a few experiences that have enlightened me to realize things, and I would like to share them with you. Today's video is going to be about practices that are not helpful or that might not be acting in humanity's purpose. There's a lot of advancements that Western societies and white Eurocentric that stems from Eurocentric societies. When people from Europe came to Americas and started like colonization and all that, and all of its effects. So the effects have been various, and people will argue that there's a lot of positive effects, and other people will argue that there's more negative effects. It doesn't matter whether it's positive or negative. I think what matters is to know exactly where we're standing right now. What are we going to do with it? And how to direct ourselves. Or a part of knowing what we can do is also knowing what happened. And to know what happened in our history, we have to remind ourselves of the things that are not so popular. People will say that this is yet another woke channel, a mix. So as a mix, I'm also responsible to acknowledge and, have accountability and also work my own inner injustice that I perpetrate. So practices of Western societies or white societies. And for this, I'm gonna tell you a little story. So we decided to go on a trip to the States. And so my friend and we went to Los Angeles and we lived there for a few weeks. I got to experience the way of living in Los Angeles in a predominantly white neighborhood, and all of its privileges basically, and all of their downsides and all of the benefits of living in this area. I believe it's also very limiting to be describing an area or a place by good or bad. If I were to be honest, the benefits were the luxurious homes, the beautiful streets, like very wide. Not many options, maybe because it was a pandemic. We couldn't really see the restaurants buzzing. So yeah, those were the benefits, but I think the bad parts definitely were far more negative. It just outweighed the positive. The bad parts were various. Like, to begin with, the climate was terrible. You could feel burning all the time. Like, the sun was really strong. The second thing was like the waste. The third thing was that everything kind of looked fake. The fourth thing was that everyone kind of like they were performing, like wearing masks and not be genuine, or I don't know, it just felt like very plastic, very toxic. It was like those movies that I've seen for decades. Hollywood movies, you would see the hills, and it would be this places like Beverly Hills, and I mean, it's just a way of living. The way I see this kind of living is there's an overflow of things, of material things. And whereas some people will argue that capitalistic systems have helped develop a society and grow its knowledge and make progress and use the human resources, both cognitive and labor force, towards putting into objectives, to goals, to progress. However, it's evident that it's just for a few people. Like, sure, they grow its knowledge and they feed the knowledge of the machine, and the progress is just for that machine and the people that benefit from it, which is a very small percentage of the people. There must be some way of accountability of things that we should also care about: excess and an overflow of material things, and not just material, but also food and options and cars and items and stores, and it's just like a bunch of things. And it is interesting when I see people posting on Instagram, for example, that it's just part of their beings. It's bypassed completely, that is non-natural. Like, human beings have lived, we have lived for centuries without this culture of consumerism, of materialism, of consumption, of overflow, of items, of things, of money, of purchasing, of buying, of using, of wasting. And wasting was the part that definitely shocked me the most, and the part that definitely I basically, my being couldn't stand to be part of it. I told the person I was with that it was unbearable to see it, to be part of it. And they saw my point. They thought, sure, let's just make Asia a little happy. We're gonna go down to the restaurant with our plates and we're gonna take the food. We're gonna tell the people at the restaurant to put the food in the plates, which were ceramic plates, not like disposable plastic plates or any other disposable container. We're gonna go down to the restaurant and back up to the studio with their plates with food. And it was an interesting experience because at least they heard me. And I appreciated that day where they stopped for a minute, and instead of buying, purchasing plastics and waste and this, and do you want another drink, a can or a bottle, and just seeing the trash cans just getting full and to the brim, overflowing every few hours or every day at least. It was hard to see, hard to witness. I think this is a non professional way to make a feedback to a culture, but I think it's important to acknowledge it and to address it. So I think if we're ever gonna improve the way we live and the way we are as society, as global citizens, is to have accountability of the things that are wrong. So this obviously could go on and on in different directions, where I could be telling you it all stems from capitalism. We should completely stop manufacturing things. We should completely stop our economies based on creating things and selling things and making people purchasing them. That's a very huge topic for maybe another time, but today I just wanted to highlight this, and let me know in the comments how you feel. What do you think? If this is real, if this is not an issue. I think all opinions are valid, so it's about contributing, collaborating, and sharing a discussion between one and another person. I hope you enjoy this short video, and hope to see you next time. So this is just me trying to improving myself for others. I'm trying to be better for everyone else that is not me specifically. Just sharing my views, my learnings, and my opinions, hoping that it guides someone else into these topics, or maybe inspires them to do the same, to work their inner white supremacy and make themselves better for the world.